What does it feel like to hit publish? This is one of the first questions that I ask my clients when I start working with them. And so today, in honor of Halloween, when this episode is coming out, I'm going to share some treats with you, which is 2 new books that are out in the world that I had the pleasure of supporting the authors, the writers in. And we're going to talk about what it feels like to publish, a little bit about the publication process, and of course, I'm going to brag about these amazing new books that are out in the world. I'm so glad you are here, and we are going to get right to it. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Written Compass. I'm super excited to talk today because I've got a little treat for you. I want to talk about the treat of hitting publish. And this episode that I'm recording will drop on Halloween this year. So I thought it'd be fun to just play with the idea of trick or treat. And we're going to talk all about treat time. And in my world right now, supporting people and coaching people through their embodied writing process and helping them go from idea to published book. The big treat that happens, one of the biggest one, is actually hitting publish. So I want to talk about that today and just share 2 of our latest publications that I'm so excited and so glad that they're out in the world. But one of the things to just get us started, I love to ask when I start working with a client, I ask them this one really powerful question. What will it feel like? What's it going to feel like when you publish, when your words are out in the world? And then I pause and I wait. And usually the biggest grin shows up on their faces. And just the idea of being able to, and I'm picking up both of their books right now, being able to hold their words in their hand, right? Like they've seen so many books and authors and thought leaders that they have followed over the years. Like there's just something really powerful that happens. So I want to just offer a treat about the idea of hitting publish and what that feels like. These 2 books are amazing, so I'm going to go ahead and share them. Halinka Previtt's book, Vulnerably Authentic, A Journey to Being Okay, is out in the world. Go grab a copy on Amazon if you have not done so already. And what I love about this book is she kind of describes it well in her tagline. It's your coach in a book for living aligned with who you truly are. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that book in particular. And also newest is Laura Wick's The Body Mind Method. And Laura is actually going to be on the podcast soon. Halinka has been on the podcast. Go back a few episodes and catch hers. It's so great to connect with these people and then share them and their amazingness with the world. But I want to brag about these people, really brag on them. And I want to talk about the publishing process a bit. So I'm going to just sort of share a little bit about what it's like when we start to work together. People come to me in all different phases of feeling like a writer, not feeling like a writer, everything in between, having ideas of what their book was going to be and having like just a vibe of like, I know there's stuff here and, the direction is going to emerge. And like I said, everything kind of in between that. So with Halinka, we talked about this on her podcast episode. She actually came with the title. She knew Vulnerably Authentic was going to be the main title of her book. And when we started to suss through, the big goal for her was just capturing. And that's a really number one goal for everyone in starting their writing and publication process. Just start capturing. I'm going to do another episode, check it out, coming out soon, around like, if you know you want to write a book, that's on your heart of hearts and your soul of souls, I'm going to talk about like how to prepare yourself for that, right? So pay attention, go listen to that one when it comes out. But Halinka came with this awesome title. And so our big job was just to support her in capturing the stories that represented this idea of vulnerably authentic. And so she did that. And we started really capturing about the beginning of the year 2022. And she was just wonderful. Halinka's a writer that like when it comes, it just comes. And so we found her process, like discovered her process, like when she felt the urge and felt it coming through, boom, she just let it rip. And it didn't have to be like every day or even sometimes every week. And that was a wonderful process for her. So slowly but surely, she, in her own embodied way, was able to start to find her stories that were representing these key ideas around vulnerable authenticity and being vulnerably authentic. So I'm going to share with you her sections and talk through how she kind of came up with that. So where you are is the first section. Coach in a book is the second section. And you are okay is the third section. So part of the publishing process is the like construction, right? Like the organization of the book. Now there's a lot of people out there that say you need to know. You need to have an outline. You need to know the order of ideas, the order of operations before you begin writing, because you're going to, quote, waste time. You're going to find yourself swirling and not knowing what you're writing. So you need to have this outline so that you can write for that outline and be as efficient and effective as possible. Well, Halinka really started writing this book at the beginning of 2022, and it was published like on Amazon out in the world in October, like just at the beginning of this month in which I'm recording this podcast. So that is about 10 months from start to publish. That is super fast. And it wasn't about efficiency. It was about honoring what was showing up for her. One thing that was super fun with Halinka was talking about fonts. I remember we had a really nice discussion. And if you haven't thought about fonts, that's something really fun to think about. It's something you're going to have to decide in the publishing process. I advise that you are a part of that conversation, whether you are working with a publisher or self-publishing, and you get to decide. There are some suggestions and some general, most people are not writing in swirly cursive kinds of fonts because, people want to read it. But Halinka and I had great discussions about font and like the title font and how that needed to connect to the interior font. So that was one part of the publishing process that we had a lot of fun about. The other was a big discussion, which will be a little bit different when I talk about Laura's book, was the cover design. Now, I work with an amazing graphic designer. She is so good at her cover design. She's a part of our team and we just adore her. And so the best way to just start to figure out what you want your cover to look like is to start to look at other covers. One big decision is, do you want to be on the cover of your book or do you want it to be a design of some sort? Both of them are a design, but making a decision of, do you want to be on the cover yourself? On Laura's book, she is on the cover, and I'll talk about why that makes sense for her. And on Halinka's book, she's got this nice kind of gold, beautiful, like it's almost sparkly kind of look to it, a texture that kind of wraps around the whole book. And that was intentional. Again, everything was an embodied process. So thinking about fonts, thinking about covers, thinking about as you get into your writing, letting the words show you the order that they want to be in. We didn't start out with those sections for Halinka. So that was a really fun part of the writing and formatting and publishing process, to think about what we wanted, how things seem to be showing up and how they should be organized. So that was a fun thing about the publishing process for her. Now with Laura, we're going to talk to Laura here soon in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. So I don't want to give too much away about Laura's story, but I will just say this. Laura has been writing for a while, but this is her very first book. So Laura Wick is CEO and founder of the Body Mind Method coaching certification program. She works primarily with wellness professionals and supporting them in creating ease and fierce alignment in their business and their life through this body-mind approach to both their lifestyle and their business. And it's just amazing. I'm a certified body-mind coach, so I clearly love me some Laura. But Laura had been writing for a while and had been wanting to write a book for a while. So when we got together, it was a lot of capturing, but also gathering word assets, because as a business owner who had been in business for years and years, she had so much content, so much amazing content. And we knew the title pretty quickly, The Body Mind Method. We had fun with the subtitle, 4-part framework for embodied entrepreneurs to grow their income and impact. And it was just really fun to support Laura in like just letting herself go, like letting herself just rip in this book, like saying all the things, sending all the messages. And this book is amazing because It's just got so much goodness. And again, I'm trying not to say too much because we're going to have a full discussion here soon. But Laura's book is also available right now on Amazon. And now with Laura's book, what was really fun was she actually has a course that is connected to the book. And so from a publishing perspective, that's another thing to think about is there any kind of media, assets, resources, additional things that you want to send people to? And how do you make that a part of the book in a natural way? So one way is just, you just say, hey, this exists, almost like if you were, a college student and you had those textbooks that had like, here's the supplemental resources and there's just a link to a website or something like that. That's one way to do it. Laura's is actually integrated into her chapters and book. And so she gives a place where it is most appropriate for you to kind of pause and go and watch this resource, this video. So it's pretty cool, which is another reason. Like you get a course inside the book, which is just amazing. So that was something really fun. She is also on the cover of her book. And it makes sense because she is the face of her company, right? And so there was really not much question of whether she was going to be on the cover or not. So those are just some of the things that I have recently just had such a fun time. It's been a real treat to just gobble up these goodies of these humans that I've gotten to work with. Halinka, through her book, Vulnerably Authentic, Laura Wick, The Body Mind Method, will have the link to the books in the show notes here. And I want to just pause now and ask you to reflect on that question that I asked you at the top of the episode. What is it going to feel like when you hit publish? What is that going to feel like for you? As always, I want to hear from you. So share this episode. Tell me what it's going to feel like. Write about that question, post and tag me at Shana Hartman _. I want to hear all the things. I do. And I definitely want to support you if you share this in with writing and all that kind of stuff, because that's just amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are listening to this on Halloween, happy Halloween. I hope you enjoy all your treats and enjoy the tricks too. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at Shana Hartman _ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to shanahartman.com and click Work with Us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.